Hey everyone, and today I'm going to be talking about periods. I'm going to tell you about all the basics, cramps, cravings, can you have a heavy flow or a light flow, pads or tampons, clothing, and just some general information on starting and how many days it lasts and when to visit your doctor. I also will be talking about my first period experience and how I coped with it. So let's just get right in. Cramps. I do get cramps. Mine are pretty up there. They're pretty bad. Not too bad to where, I'm just over in pain, but they do exceed more than I would like them to. It is common for you to get cramps. Some people get them, some people don't. It just really depends on your body. But I do get them, and they are up there in the scale. But things that you can do to help the cramps go away or ease up a little bit. First, you can take some menstrual medicine, Midol, Pamprin, Tylenol, ibuprofen, things like that. I personally have taken Midol and Pamprin, and they both do work, but they don't really kick in until about an hour, so you still have that hour of pain in your stomach. I have taken Excedrin. Usually Excedrin is only for headaches, but I have taken it, and that is what I normally take. If I have cramps, I will take Excedrin because it has caffeine in it. And caffeine, it's not a lot of caffeine to where you're, hyper, it's pretty much like a delivery source. It helps the medicine deliver the pain medicine, that way, it gets there faster. It usually works in about 30 minutes. So that's what I take, because I personally think it's faster and it makes it go away faster. Maybe some source of heat, like a heating pad or a hot water bottle. You boil some water and then you put it into a water bottle. Preferably one that's not like a plastic one that you would get like a Nestle or something like that. Just like a Gatorade bottle, like a sports bottle that you would take with you if you're doing sports. That way, if it's plastic, it won't melt as fast as it would if it's in like a Dasani or a Nestle. So something like that, or naps. Some people can make themselves take naps when they get cramps, and usually they will wake up and they're gone. Me personally, I have trouble with that. I can't make myself take a nap. I have to be tired to be able to take a nap. But like I said, it's your body. You do how you feel like you need to. That way you can get rid of your cramps. Next topic, cravings. I do get cravings. The two most ideal things that I crave are coffee and chocolate. Sometimes I will let myself have a chocolate bar once in a while, so I do, indulge in my cravings. I don't do it often, but I will do it. The thing that I do let myself do all the time and indulge in is coffee, because I love coffee. I'm actually drinking coffee right now. So, yes, I do get cravings, and I do let myself indulge once in a while because you're in pain. And if you don't have cramps, that doesn't mean you're feeling, I just wish this would get over already. You gotta treat yourself. I mean, come on now. So I do let myself, indulge just to make myself feel better. Flow. I personally have a heavy flow. It is common for some women to have heavy flows, and it is common for some women to have lighter flows. It just depends on how your family history is. If the woman in your family has had lighter flows, then you might have a lighter flow. Sometimes you can have a heavy flow. It just depends on your body. So, it does have a lot to do with your family history, but it mostly is on your body. So, if you feel like there's something wrong on that department, you need to go see your doctor. But me personally, I have a heavy flow. My mom has a heavy flow, and my grandma had a heavy flow, so it's really nothing to be worried about. But the doctor did say that I would have a heavy flow, so it's common for me to have a heavy flow. But if you feel like, again, if you feel like there's something wrong, and it's too heavy, or it's too light, like you're barely spotting, then you need to go see a doctor. Because you might be pregnant, or there's something wrong with your body. And we'll get into that on later. Now, pads or tampons. I normally wear pads. I very, very, very rarely use tampons. And the reason why I very rarely use tampons is because, for me, tampons just makes my cramps feel worse. And I just barely use them. It is very rarely that I use tampons. If I do use it, it will be like on my heavier days, like the second or the third day, maybe sometimes the fourth, depending on how long my period is going to last. So I'll talk about how many days your period can last later on in this video. But yeah, it just depends on how heavy I'm bleeding if I will wear a tampon. But I basically will use a pad. Now, I've already actually made a video, and I did not like the way I looked in it. So, I do have a tampon right here. And basically what you do is you'll unwrap it, and it won't be rolled up like it just was. It'll be a square like this. It'll come like that. And the pads that I use are Always. Right now I'm using the Dollar General because they're cheaper. So I'm using the Compare to Always. But I will also use the U by Kotex in that little box. They're more expensive. They're on the pricier side. Sometimes when I get them, I usually get them when they're on sale. Yeah, so I usually just get the Dollar General brand. But here is what a tampon looks like. It looks like that. And it's going to have these little wings right here. I'm going to have to peel them off because, oh, I just ruined it. Oh, I'll just get a new one out because they're only like $1, so it's not like I'm wasting terribly. So this is what a tampon looks like. That's what it's going to look like when it comes out of the package. You're going to take it out of the wrapper, like so, and you're going to keep this wrapper, or you can throw this away and use the next one that you open when you change it later, which I normally do, so I'll pretend I throw that away. And this is what the pad looks like when it's opened and it's freshly new, not used. Sometimes it will have a little piece of paper on the back, depending on the brand that you will have to pull off. And it does so on the front as well to help protect stickiness. You want to make sure you always get with wings. These are the wings right here. Let me pull this off, that way you can see right here, all the wings. Because the reason why you want wings is because not only do they help secure the pad in place, but you will have a little bit of leakage, and it just helps not to let the period blood get on the side of your underwear. And it's gonna happen. Just be prepared. It's gonna happen. But I'll talk about that, you know, later on in the video as well. Yeah, but make sure you always get with wings. So you're gonna secure it into place, pretend this is my underwear, and then when you go change it, I usually change mine about, depending on how heavy I am, depending on which day it is. Like I said, my second, third, or fourth day is usually the heaviest for me. Sometimes it's my second, sometimes it's my third, sometimes it's the fourth. It really just depends on my body. So you're gonna roll it up like so, when you change it. And do not just throw this in the trash like it is. It is disgusting if you do that. What I normally do is I will take the little plastic piece that comes from the pad that I'm replacing onto my underwear while I'm changing this one. I'll keep the one that I'm going to use for that, and I'll roll it up with that piece of plastic that came off that newly fresh pad, and I will throw it into the garbage. You can also do toilet paper. Sometimes it just depends on how I'm feeling. If I feel like it's like the plastic is kind of see-through, so if I feel like I want to be more discreet about it and wrap it up more with a piece of toilet paper, then I do it. It just really depends on how you feel about it, and it also depends on how heavy you are. So that's how you change your pad. Just don't throw it in the trash like it is when it's all bloody and not covered up. It's gross. And if you're in a public place and you just do that, that would make me mad when I had to go in and clean the bathrooms because it's gross. So tampons. I have used tampons before. I very rarely use them, but I have used them. So it's pretty much like a syringe. I use the U by Kotex Super Plus because I am a heavy bleeder. And like I said, I very rarely use tampons. It has to be pretty heavy, which my second, third, or fourth day is when I will use a tampon. If I'm going somewhere and I know that I need to wear it, then I will wear one. But it's like a syringe, and you basically just take the plastic piece that it comes in. It has like a little band-aid kind of cotton thing inside of it, and you'll just stick it up, your area there, and push the little thing down that comes with it. Like I said, it's pretty much like a syringe. You just push it in, and it's in there. But you want to make sure it's in the right spot. If not, then you will feel kind of weird. It will kind of poke you. What I do is I put it all the way back until I can't go no more, and usually that'll be until I feel my skin on my thumb, and that's when I will stop. You don't want to push it too far because then you might get the applicator stuck, and that's not fun. But it really just depends on you. You do you. If you feel like you need to go farther back, then push it farther back. You'll know. You'll have an instinct to tell you when to stop. So you just put it in there, and if it's in the right spot, you won't be able to feel it, and you should be good. You can wear a panty liner with that. I usually just wear a pad because I really don't like panty liners. I don't trust them. They're too thin for me. I feel like if I wore a panty liner, I'd just get blood everywhere. So I pad and tampon it. Some people on their heavier days, not heavy, but lighter days, they will wear a panty liner. Me personally, I just prefer the pad because you never know. It could, be lighter in the morning, but it could still be light, but it could be, more than what you thought it would be. That's usually how mine is. But again, it just depends on your body. So, like I said, you do you. So, clothing. Now, I personally wear things that are comfy because you will get bloated. And bloating is just, water in your stomach area that is caused when you start your period. It's not anything to be worried about. You're really not gaining any weight. It's just the weight that comes when your period starts. So if you weigh yourself and you see, you're higher than what you used to be, like, 7 or how many days ago you started your period, don't worry about it because it's not that accurate. It's just going to tell you that And when you're on your period, you do get PMS. That's one thing I forgot to mention, but I'll talk about PMS later after I talk about this topic. But clothing is just, I wear spandex or sweats and a t-shirt. Something long, because if you happen to bleed, then you can just cover up with that shirt and you can feel good until you buy some more underwear to change into, or until you get home to be able to change. So wear like a long shirt, something that you'll feel comfortable in. That way you don't, make yourself sit through misery all day. Now PMSing. PMS stands for premenstrual symptoms. It's pretty much like if you start your period, you can either act like you're a brat, you can act like you're mad, you can go through depression. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can go through. Me personally, I do get PMS. I am one of the girls that act like a total B-word. I feel bad. I will let my husband know I'm on my period. Don't mess with me. I will knock you into next week. So I do get that. It's just something that comes along. Just tell your family members, your husband, your boyfriend, whoever you live with, that you are on your period if you feel comfortable with telling them. Or just tell your mom if you don't feel comfortable with telling the whole entire family. And your mom will let everybody know that you're on it without letting you know. And that way you can feel more comfortable about it. But it's something that you can't avoid either. Sometimes a lot of people don't even get it, but I do. I usually get the worst things after. So sometimes some women can get it, sometimes some women don't. It's just something that happens as you get your period. So don't feel bad if, you're acting like a total crazy person and, you're on your period. Now, if you're acting like a total crazy person and you're not on your period, then that's fine. Feel bad, but just let everyone know, because it's something that can be avoided early if you let everyone know that you're starting your period and that you're gonna, because they're gonna know if you start your period, you're gonna act like, a different person when you're not in your period. So I have some information. I'm going to be talking about information on starting your first period, how many days it lasts, and when to see your doctor. I'll do the easiest one first, when to see your doctor. When to see your doctor would be something like, if you know that you're supposed to have a light flow and you have heavy flow, and it's just not normal for you to have like one period cycle you have a light flow, and then the next period cycle you have a heavy flow, make sure you consult your doctor about that, because if you're supposed to have a light flow and that's your usual, light flow is your usual when you get your period, then that's something to kind of worry about. It's not necessarily meaning that there's something wrong with you. It just could mean that, your body just didn't get enough blood out and it stopped when it was too early to, and the next time you get it would be like, I need to catch up on this. So that could be something, but just make sure you consult your doctor first before actually taking that too close to heart, because only the doctor would know what's wrong with you. I'm not a doctor, so I wouldn't know, so make sure you consult your doctor about it. And it vice versa goes with if you're supposed to have a heavy flow and then you have a light flow. Just make sure you consult your doctor. The next thing to see a doctor about would be if you haven't started your period. This just could mean that you may be late. Sometimes it happens. Or you could be pregnant. So just see your doctor. Like I said, they know what's going on. They're the professionals. I'm not. So just don't take this video too close to heart when it comes to your body and your health. I do have some experience, but I'm not a doctor. So make sure you consult your doctor at all times when you feel like there's something wrong with your period. Okay, so the information on starting. So when you start your first day of your period, it's going to be a little light. And this can go for your very first period experience. It could be light as well. So don't expect it to be red, alarming red, because it's not going to be. Sometimes it's going to be light brown, sometimes it could be brown, like brown as a stick. Sometimes it could be red, but it's not going to be heavy. It should be light, because it's just your first day. It's not going to be like very bad. So you can just wear a tampon if you want it, or you can wear a pad. Me personally, for my first day, like I said, I just love pads because they're better. I think they don't give me cramps as bad, so I just wear a pad. So yeah, information on starting, it's just a light. It could be a light. The color will be either a light brown, a brown, or a red. Just depends on your body. And then how many days does it last? Your period will last about 5 to 7 days, depending on your body and depending on how fast it, goes through the cycle. Sometimes it can last. Usually I've had mine last only 5 days. I've had mine last 6, and I've had mine last 7. So it really just depends on your body. Everything on this topic really just depends on your body. There's really nothing to get all worked up about. It's nature. It's given by God. It's just, you gotta have it, because if you don't, then that means you can't have children, and if you have it, then that means you can't have children. So it's something to be grateful about, because that means you can have kids. So just don't get all worked about it. It's nothing to be afraid of. So let's see. Cramps, cravings, flow, pads or tampon clothing, PMSing, and starting, how many days, and doctor visits. I think that's pretty much it. Now let's go ahead and go into my first period experience. My first period happened when I was 10. I've been on my period for 9 years, or almost 9 years, because I'm 19 now, so. I started when we were in Burger King. I went to the bathroom, and there was something brown on my underwear. It wasn't like, heavy brown or anything like that. I pretty much already knew what it was. I did ask my mom because I wanted to make sure that's what it was. So I told my mom. She came to the bathroom with me. She looked at it, not like inappropriately or anything like that. She just wanted to make sure that it was my period and not something else that we need to go to the doctor about. So she gave me a pad. She told me I started my period, and she showed me how to open it. She showed me how to use it. She showed me how to apply it, and that was basically it. That day went on by, and it started getting redder and redder, and the next day it was red. It was red. I changed it more the next day, and it was heavy, like she said it was going to be, and it wasn't really anything to be mad or sad about. It was just something that I had to go through, and something that I was excited to receive, because knowing that I received it, I can now have kids if me and my husband want to in the future. So that was basically it. Like I said, nothing to be afraid of, nothing to be sad about, oh, I got my period. That's not. It's something to be happy about. You may not like it. Yes, it sucks. I'm not gonna lie, but it's just something that we have to go through. Well, let me know if you guys want me to do a embarrassing period story about this topic, and I will make a video about it. Actually, I may just do it now because it's not very long, so yeah, I'll just do it now. So my embarrassing period story would be, I would be in 8th grade, and I didn't know I was supposed to start my period. I don't carry a calendar around with me. I don't use Clue or anything like that, which is, I have, like, started using it, but then it's just like, no, I really don't need this. Me personally, I just let it happen when it happens. I'm one of those kinds of people. Now, I learned from my mistakes, I do carry things with me in my purse all the time. I don't just, not carry anything with me because I know it could happen any time. But then, I didn't. I didn't expect it to be there until the specific date, but it happens every 28 days, and it's not going to happen on that same date every single time. Like I said, if you have your period at like 15th, and you get it around 3 weeks later, that's about 28 days, it's going to happen. So don't be worried about it if you get it 3 weeks later and you've already had it last month. You're going to get it again because it's already been about a month. So I went to stand up to get my shirt. My shirt was kind of going up to my back a little bit, and I didn't like it, and I just wanted it to be down where it was supposed to be. My friend behind me, who was sitting at a different table, came up to me and said that I had something red on the back of my pants. Well, I kind of stood up like I was going to go get something across the table. Didn't really make it anything, noticeable or anything. I just slowly, went like I was going to scratch my back, and I went slowly down towards, where she said it was, and I felt it, and she was right. I had something there. And when I got up, I saw that there was a little bit of blood on the seat, nothing too major, but my friends were all around me, and they saw it at my table, so that was a little bit embarrassing. So I went to the teacher that was on my lunch duty that day, and I told her that I started my period, and that I needed to... Sorry, I just heard something. It sounded like a mouse or something. It scared the living crap out of me. But yeah, I said that I needed to go to the nurse's station because I started my period. And she said, okay, I'll walk you there, I'll stay behind you, that way you don't feel like all the people are staring at you. And I said, okay. So we went to the nurse's station, and she doesn't have any pads or tampons there. So I had to call my dad, who was a bus mechanic, and we only lived 5 minutes away, so it's not like he had to go out of his way to get me a pad. And that was basically it. He got me a pad, I went back to lunch, we went to school, I finished the day, it was fine. So nothing to be worried about. When you get a little bit older, it really don't embarrass you, and you've been on it for a while longer like I have, you just really get, it doesn't embarrass you anymore. You're just like, oh yay, I got my period, oh yep, okay, add it, put it on, it's fine. So, yeah, but that is everything. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Bye!